Hi everyone, Bruce here at etrailer. Today we're going to take a look at and install our Demco tabless base plate on our 2024 Jeep Wrangler. So the main thing we're going to be looking at today is our base plate, but there are 5 components that you really need to go ahead and flat tow your vehicle. You're going to need the tow bars, you're going to need a braking system, you need tow lights or wiring kit so your lights work as your coach, you're pressing the brakes, so you got lights on the back of your vehicle, and also your safety cables. Hooking up and disconnecting to your coach with this base plate is fairly simple. Let's go ahead and take a look at disassembling this. It's quite simple. We've got some pins here we need to go ahead and remove. And the tow bar is just going to go ahead and drop down. We can go ahead and remove our safety cable. Again, going to the other side, you're just going to do the same thing. Set that down. Now we can actually go ahead and remove these as well. You just got to unclip that. Turn it 90 degrees and pull it straight out. With our vehicle disconnected from our coach, let's go ahead and take a closer look at the base plate. Now if we come down here on our base plate, we do have plastic covers that do cover up the holes to keep any debris and dirt out of it when you're disconnected and just driving around. You'll have that on both sides, and they're really easily removable. Just pop them out. Sometimes they fly away, but just retrieve it and you'll be okay. What I really do like about this base plate is it's well hidden. Now, coming down again here and looking a little closer, a lot of your base plates will have a crossbar that you actually see going across here. As you look at ours, you don't see anything but our connection points sticking out, which makes it great for when you're driving around. It's not so noticeable. But with that being said, I just really think that's a great key to this base plate. I just like a nice clean look, and this base plate gives you that. Now hooking this up is fairly simple. We take our little tab here, and this T section here, we're gonna wanna have it facing this way. We're gonna insert this, and then you're just gonna turn it 90 degrees, and then we're gonna take our pins and go ahead and insert those and put it on. You're just going to do the same thing to the other side. It's so easy. I just really like this base plate. I can't say enough good things about it. The install of the base plate is really simple, other than you do have some cutting on some of your plastic, but it's really not that big a deal. They give you a diagram to cut out and it works out perfect. Now, if you don't want to try this at home, go ahead and check out our dealer locator on etrailer.com. But if you want to do this at home, stick around. I'll show you how. To begin our installation, we are going to go ahead and grab a flathead screwdriver. We do need to remove the bumper. And the first thing we need to do are these plastic push pins we do need to remove. And it's directly behind your tow hook here. So if you just look behind that and grab that, and just keep in mind, anything we do on one side, we're going to pretty much do on the other unless we note it. So let's pull that little guy up and get him out of there. Now going under the vehicle, we do need to take the skid plate off, and there are 8 push pins holding that on. So starting here, and this is on the driver's side. Going all the way over to the passenger side, there are 8 of these. You just go right along that, and then we do have 2 8mm we also have to remove right here. Let's go ahead and get the push pins out. Now we need to go ahead and grab an 8mm and get this out. This is the driver's side again. Just remember, anything we do on this side, we're going to do on the other side unless we note it. Once we get that last one out, this skid plate will just come down, and we're just going to go ahead and set this aside. Got a little tip for you. So we just took the skid plate out. What I like to do is take a little bag, Ziploc bag or whatever, and just throw all the parts that came off of that into a little bag. That way I know where all those parts go back to. Now we need to go ahead and remove 4 bolts on each side. So it's going to be a total of 8 to get the bumper off. So we got one here, one above it, one on the other side of the frame, just like it, and one above it, and you'll have the same thing on the passenger side. Let's go ahead and get those off. Now we're going to go ahead and grab a trim tool. We do carry these here at eTrailer, but we've got some wiring we need to unplug before we actually remove the bumper. This is on the passenger side, just right on your frame where we took out this little plastic push pin. This is the plug we're talking about. You're going to take your trim tool, just remove that plug off of the frame there. And then this plug does have a little locking lever on it, the little tab there. We're going to push that way, like that, and then it's going to pull, the actual gray piece is going to pull out, and then you'll be able to unplug it. Now with an extra set of hands, we can go ahead and remove the bumper, and we're going to go ahead and set it aside. I got Scott here with me. Now we need to go ahead and take a 16mm, and this bolt right here, we're going to remove this bracket on the outside of the frame on both sides. So this is the driver's side. You're going to do the same thing on the passenger side. Save these bolts, we will reuse them. Now this bracket, we're not going to use anymore. Now we need to go ahead and take 2 of the big flat washers here. These are going to go behind this one and this one on the outside of both sides of the vehicle. So we're just going to take some tape and put that on there. And all this is to do is just hold these washers while we get the base plate installed. And you're going to want to do that same thing to the other side. Now it's time to go ahead and grab our base plate and the bolts that we took out of the side brackets here. You're going to need one of them for this side and one for the passenger side. So we're going to take this base plate and we're going up from underneath. So we're getting this hole right here lined up where we took that plate out. You take your bolt, go ahead and loosely put that in and do the other side. What we're doing here, we're going to go ahead and line up our holes in our base plate with the holes in the frame plate there. So we're just going to use a screwdriver, and we're pretty close. And you're not going to tighten these all the way yet anyway. So just snug it up. That'll be good enough for now, and do the same with the other side. Now we need to go ahead and take a nut strip, and we're going to go up under here, inside the frame here, and a serrated bolt is going to go through this hole. So we got to take the nut strip, line it up with the hole, and go ahead and put our bolt through. All right, now that you've got the base plate semi-installed, we do need to do some cutting on our plastic skid plate here. There are templates in the last page of the instructions, so I just basically took those templates and cut them out and then put tape over it here. So this is my cutting line. So just follow those instructions. They're pretty good. It's basically you measure from the top of here down 1 7/8 inches, and the same thing's going to happen on the other side. The only thing you got to keep mindful of, like on the passenger side over here, there is a little nub, and there's a line right down the middle, like kind of like you see here on this template. You just need to take that line and line it up with this little nub here, right in the middle, and you should be good to go. Now, just remember, we can always cut more, so don't cut too much out at a time, and we'll just fit it as we go. And you can use a utility knife, 10 snips. We're using a multi-tool here. That's how we're going to do it. We can pop that out. And we can go ahead and do the other side, and we'll clean this up in a little bit. So if you were wondering what we were cutting the holes for, we were cutting our holes for the base plate here. We do have to have these poking through our little skid plate. So with that being said, we have them cut. Now we do need to go a little more on the top side here. So to get these screw holes on the bottom that reattach it here. So we're close, but I don't like that tension. So I am going to go ahead and cut probably a little off the bottom and a little off the top. So just keep that in mind. That's what I'm talking about when you're cutting this. Always go a little less because you can always cut more. Now we do need to go ahead and torque these bolts down to the manufacturer's specification. We're doing this one here. So let's go ahead and do that. If you don't have a torque wrench, you can purchase one from etrailer.com, or you can rent one from your local auto parts store. Now we need to go ahead and take our safety cables and our quick links, and we do have to tie that onto our base plate. This is just for a catastrophic failure. If this becomes disconnected from the frame, you still have the cables to control your vehicle. So we're going to wrap it around this body mount here. Come around and then go back under the frame, back to the inside part of the vehicle. We'll take one of the quick links and tie that here. And then the other one, we are going to wrap around the actual base plate itself. It's a little tight to get those hooks in there sometimes. There we go. I'm just going to bring this down. And we'll bring it back up and take our other hook and place it here. Quick link back onto the cable, and you're going to need to do that to the other side. We'll tighten those up, and that part is completed. Now we're going to go ahead and throw our bumper back up, grab a set of an extra pair of hands, and you notice we do have the skid plate put back on, or just hanging there. Once you do slide the bumper on, you're just going to use those factory nuts that came off when you pulled the bumper off. And now we're at the point we're going to go ahead and torque those down. This does complete our install of our Demco tabless base plate on our 2024 Jeep Wrangler.